as long as he remains the governor.
In my inaugural speech, I proudly reiterated the fact that Labour was my primary constituency, and it will remain so ever as a governor. I stand by this statement even now and for a long time as I remain in office as the governor of Rivers State. I will not disappoint you. I will continue to govern with the fear of God and carry everyone, including Labour, along. We promise that our government will be Labour-friendly.
Governor Fubara also promised to implement any new salary structure approved by the federal government.
I tell you that we are going to work with the federal government to implement necessary measures, including the continuation of the free bus services and the provision of necessary palliative to ameliorate the current hardship faced by ordinary citizens. We are also committed to implementing the increase in the workers' salary recently approved by the federal government as soon as possible. The perimeters are made available. We are a listening government and we have had the common concern and demand of Labour.
Earlier, the chairman of Nigeria Labour Union (NLC) in the state, Alex Agwanwo, while commending the governor, appealed for more attention in the agricultural and education sectors. Also, the chairman of Trade Union Congress in the state, Ikechukwu Onyefuru, highlighted some areas that need the governor's attention.
We're interested in how to grow our IGR in the state. And we're happy that we have grown from 11 billion monthly to about 27 billion. And one of the ways we think that can happen, sir, is states can now invest in rail infrastructure. We believe very strongly that if Rivers State invests in rail infrastructure and all our communities are linked together, the agricultural produce and a lot of things will improve, more employment opportunities created, and that will add to the IGR of Rivers State.
Some civil servants also spoke.
I think the Rivers State Council of Nigeria Labour Congress and its affiliates are happy with the day's program. It is worthwhile considering the nature of issues, the economic realities of the country and of the state. The turnout today is commendable.
The governor has shown capacity in the sense that he felt the pulse of civil servant and he responded to it. This is what we are saying, that is our own. And I want to use this opportunity to call on all civil servants. Let's rededicate ourselves to the service and do the needful so that jointly we can protect him.
Today we are very happy. I can tell you that the entire workers in Rivers State are very happy. You can see it through the turnout from the various unions. In other May Day, we've never had it like this.
Correspondent Yomiruwara reports that the leadership of organized labor conferred on the governor the title of Labor Champion in the state. The theme for this year's May Day is Workers First. Meanwhile, the federal government has assured workers that a new minimum wage will take effect this month. The Minister of State for Labour, Nkiruka Onyejocha, said this during the May Day rally held at Eagle Square in Abuja. Now, she said it is regrettable that the new national minimum wage is not ready before May 1st, but a wide consultation is ongoing to ensure that the document is out.
Although the committee could not reach a consensus at last meeting before the May deadline, we want to reassure Nigerian workers that we are working diligently around the clock with organized labor to conclude the negotiations and ensure a successful outcome. Our commitment is unwavering. The Nigerian workers should be rest assured that despite the short delay, the minimum wage will take effect from 1st May 2024. We are not going to lose any time.
Also speaking, the Vice President Kashim Shettima, who represented the President, assured workers that the government will ensure that they earn a living wage.
We are aware of the total stakes on our economy, and I assure you we are fully committed to tackling these security challenges. And I assure you that your ideas of worrying are all. Indeed, this government is open to the committee's suggestion of not just a minimum wage, but a living wage. Nigerian workers, we cannot achieve a just and equitable society that caters to the needs of every member, including the strong and the weak, without fostering peace and unity.
Earlier in their address, the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress, Joe Ajero and Festus Osifo, asked for an increase in workers' salaries to the tune of 615,000 naira. They also called on the federal government to reverse the electricity tariff hike.
The Nigerian Labour Congress and TUC have made it clearly and emphatically that should the minimum wage negotiation continue and linger till the end of May, we can no longer guarantee industrial harmony in this country.
The NLC and TUC hereby advise NEC and power sector operators to reverse the last increase in electricity tariff within the next 1 week.
In the meantime, public offices, banks and schools reopens today after the public holiday declared by the federal government to mark Workers' Day. In other news, a constitutional lawyer, Richard Nwokocha, says Governor Fubara's action in awarding contracts without representing the budget to the Martin Amehule-led lawmakers does not violate any constitutional section. Professor Nwokocha, a lecturer at the Department of Public Law at River State University, tells our correspondent that the 2024 budget of the state has been presented to the legitimate members of the River State House of Assembly, led by Edison Ehe, as of the time it was presented. He emphasized that demanding the governor represent the budget would contravene the Constitution, noting that the presidential agreement is not constitutional and shouldn't be encouraged in a law-abiding society.
The conduct of the governor does not violate anything because a budget was duly passed prior to this time. Budget was presented to the legitimate assembly members that are, in the eyes of the constitution, members of the House of Assembly of River State, and they approved the budget. So it would be a wrong statement to say that budget had not been passed and that he's spending without budget. The agreement is not the constitution and was not in the first place even constitutional, because that agreement required him to do a number of things which are contrary to the Constitution. Such things should be unheard of.
Still to come, banks close over 2 million accounts over BVN NIN concerns. Stay with us.
Stay on track with Nigeria Info.
And PFN, the Stone Bishops.
Talking about Mourinho and AS Roma, Paulo Dybala has joined forces with Mourinho.
And then so the aviation workers also want to join the strike.
More access to all the top stories and more.
Let's talk.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
You're welcome back, and now the rest of the news. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has warned Nigerians to be cautious of individuals presenting printed result slips, as the current results are not available in any paper format. JAMB spokesperson Fabian Benjamin gave this warning in a statement today. Mr. Benjamin said the results are currently unavailable on JAMB's website and cannot be accessed in any printed form. And now in business, commercial banks in Nigeria closed 2.021 million bank accounts in the first quarter of 2024 to clean their books of questionable accounts and comply with regulatory orders on the linkage of bank accounts to the National Identity Number, NIN. This is according to a report by the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, NIBSS, which also indicated that the number of inactive bank accounts grew by 4 million. In entertainment, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and celebrity barman Pascal Okechukwu, popularly known as Cubana Chief Priest, have reached an agreement to resolve the Naira abuse charge outside of court. The out-of-court settlement was disclosed when the proceedings resumed on Thursday. As you may know, Cubana Chief Priest is facing 3 counts related to abusing the Naira at a social gathering. In sports, Portugal midfielder Bruno Fernandes says his future at Manchester United will depend on whether the club want him to stay beyond the summer.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
The U.S. has accused Russia of deploying chemical weapons as a method of warfare in Ukraine, in violation of international laws banning their use. State Department officials said Russia used the choking agent chlorophyrin to win battlefield gains over Ukraine. The allegations, which U.S. officials said were not an isolated incident, would contravene the Chemical Weapon Convention (CWC), which Russia signed. A Kremlin spokesperson rejected the accusation, calling them baseless.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
That's a wrap on the news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. Federal government has begun a 15-day emergency petrol supply amid the fuel scarcity. The federal government has been issued an ultimatum to implement the new minimum wage. Banks have closed over 2 million accounts over BVN and NIN concerns. On the foreign scene, the U.S. is accusing Russia of deploying chemical weapons in Ukraine. The news was edited by Onyeka Chinwosu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Moyele. Many thanks for listening.